5 strongman lessons that helped me become a stronger man for my family, for my business, and myself. That's what we're going to talk about today. But before we dive into it, make sure to find me over on Instagram, Coach Mark Estrabio, and I offer one-to-one coaching if that's something you'd be interested. The odds are very good. I'd love to work with you. It's what I do full-time after all. With that being said, let's talk about these 5 lessons. One thing I really want to preface this video with is this is not about to become some new age mumbo-jumbo self-help channel with manifesting your positivity and blah, blah, blah. But I do want to share 5 lessons from competing in Strongman that I think can help a lot of us if we're feeling lost, feeling demotivated, or feeling run down. That's where I was when I first started as a personal trainer. When I first started as a personal trainer, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was in a very difficult place mentally and emotionally and financially. I had just failed out of college, I had an engagement falling apart, and I didn't have any direction in my life. I was just kind of there going day to day. And while training wound up being a golden ticket to a better tomorrow for me, it was done at the start in such a way that I wasn't sure if it was going to work out or not. I remember being told by everyone else at the gym, including the owner, "No one cares about strength training, Mark. Why are you focused on strength training? It's all about fat loss and toning and functional strength." And fun fact about the term functional strength, it's actually a coping term used by people who have no actual strength. But hopefully what we're going to talk about today will give you some mental strength in times that are feeling a little bit difficult for you. So here are the 5 key strongman lessons that just might help you build strength both in and out of the gym. Numero uno, passion fuels progress. You have to find what excites you in this world and let it push you forward. As I said, strength training excited me. The idea of progressive overload, there was a way to quantify whether or not you were getting better week in, week out, month in, month out for the long haul. And that's the same thing in Strongman is, are you getting stronger? Are you getting better conditioned? Is your moving event time going down? Can you handle more loads? How's your recovery? By measuring and tracking progress, you can quantify if you're getting better or not, because without knowing where you've been, it's hard to know where you're going. And to determine where you're going, you also need to know where you've been. So it's a wonderful little catch-22. And in a personal note, when it comes to my career, by focusing on strength training above everything else, well, I'm still here after almost 11 years in the personal training industry, and my in-person business is doing as well as it ever has, even post-COVID, which is kind of a rarity for a lot of folks. And I'm very grateful for that. And this isn't me saying, oh, look at me, I'm so great. But when you truly are passionate about something, when it means so much more to you than just, oh, I'm doing this to get a trophy, or I'm doing this to get a paycheck, then what you'll find is you're willing to take extraordinary measures to get better and go forward. If you always hate your workouts, maybe you don't like that programming style. Maybe you should experiment with a different programming style, one that you're passionate about, because a so-so program attacked with passion, guts, and grit will do so much better than the optimal program on paper that you don't stick to because it doesn't speak to you. And it's the same thing in our day-to-day lives. Not all of us are going to be so fortunate to find a career that we wake up excited to go to, but you should at least not hate what you're doing and cultivate some way of finding a little passion for it, or have something passionate outside of work. That way there's more meaning to what it is we're doing. Focusing forward. Dwelling on the past is a great way to let it keep hurting you. Whereas if you can keep your eyes ahead and stop thinking about it and stop dwelling on it, what has transpired can no longer continue to hurt you. I could sit here and just go over and over in my head how I failed out of school, how I made all these dumb mistakes in my youth. But the reality is, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't move me forward. In much the same way at a show, let's say you bomb one of the events. I know last time I competed at Strongman Nationals in 2021, I didn't do too well on the pressing event, and I actually zeroed the deadlift. But rather than sit there and dwell on the zero deadlift at Nationals, spending the whole day spinning myself out, I punched myself in the jaw a few times, and I moved forward and wound up having a great showing in the Farmer's Walk soon after, and rode that momentum for the remainder of the show, where I managed to finish 16th place. And at the time, I was super proud of that. And even today, I'm still pretty gosh darn proud of that. And this also ties into our day-to-day life. How many people do we know? They'll sit there and go, oh, well, I've had this happen. I've had that happen to me. There's this attitude that, oh, well, it was hard for me once, so why should it ever get better for anyone else? And it's a cancerous, poisonous mindset to have. Rather than being angry about what has already happened, Instead, we should be looking to be optimistic about what could happen if we simply keep our eyes forward and work for that better tomorrow. Consistency is king. Very few of us are ever going to deadlift triple body weight our first time out. Even fewer of us are going to wind up ever strict pressing our own body weight, let alone the first time we do it out. But it's those little efforts, day in and day out, that accumulate over time, much like a good investment portfolio. It's not about dumping $10,000 once into there and then hoping that your Dogecoin skyrockets to the moon and you can retire. But instead, daily, weekly deposits that accumulate over time with compounding interest. And it's the same thing with our fitness. Showing up to your workouts 3-4 times a week, consistently putting in that effort. If you have 100 workouts, 80 of them are going to be utterly forgettable. 10 of them, you're going to feel like they were not that great. 5 of them, you're going to feel awesome. And the other 5, you're going to wonder why you even show up. But those 80 workouts are the most important ones. But they're relatively forgettable. But you were consistent, you were predictable, and you put in the effort and you built the foundation. If you're looking to be a great strongman athlete, repetitions build that strength and work base for you to have high peaks. And in our day-to-day life, it's showing up, putting in some effort every single day to get better. Even if it's only 1%, that's how everything changes when you look back 5 years from now. What is the process of getting stronger? What is the process of rolling with punches in life? Adaptability. Accept the changes around you and be willing to change your methods. As a personal trainer, the reality is everyone who's in front of me, no two of them are the same. There are underlying principles of training such as progressive overload, appropriate exercise selection, and making it enjoyable for every single person. But we need to adapt to the individual in front of us. And this is so true with our life circumstances and strongman competition as well. So for example, let's say you don't have access to the equipment. What you need to do is adapt your training. You either need to go to a place that has the equipment, or you're going to find something in training that's close enough. For example, no Atlas stones. You should probably be doing Zercher good mornings, some cable extensions where you're actually hugging an exercise ball with the rope handle, and chest flies. Movements like that will help your body adapt to the physical demands imposed by the sport, even without doing the specific event. And then in life, obviously, adapting to the situation. Very few things in life are going to go to how we think they are. There's an old saying that life is what happens while we're making plans. And what we can do is when things do not go according to plan, we have 2 options. We adapt to the situation in front of us and we find a way to win, or we crumble and fall apart. And much like in competition, most of us don't have the choice to simply fall apart. There's people who need us, and I imagine most of us have dreams to chase. Strength grows when we share it with others. The community and giving back is so important. No one person is an island. I could sit here and tell you, oh, I'm a self-made man and I bought my home and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is I've had a lot of help to get here. I've had people who believed in me, who bet on me, even in times that I wouldn't have bet on myself. And in Strongman, I think it's one of the best communities you'll ever find. I remember at my first show, it was one of the first shows done in the region. Half the guys did not know what they were doing, but we had experienced judges and athletes there who were helping officiate the show, and they were giving advice the entire time. You asked a question, they were right there to spot, form check, and explain things. And it's even the same thing you find in the gym. The biggest, strongest, most impressive people in the gym are always the ones who are most willing to help out others, share advice, and be friendly about it, whereas the nastiest attitudes tend to be the people who are ever so slightly above average. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And in life, we need community. We're social creatures. Having people cheer us on, having people that are there for us when we're not feeling our best is so very important. There's this romanticization of being a lone wolf and you're getting jacked all by yourself, making moves in the dark. Great. If you chase away everyone else in your life in pursuit of looking better in the mirror, you're just going to be alone. And what good's being jacked if you don't have people to share it with? If you don't have people that love you and you love back. That's why I think it's so important, why this is actually the last one here. Nothing replaces an amazing strongman crew for helping improve your progress. It's part of the reason Westside Barbell, even if some of their methods might seem a little crazy to those of us outside of it, had such great results. The atmosphere in there was unmatched. There was so much raw energy and hype, and guys were literally willing to die to keep their name on the record board. We're not saying that we need to go that far. Obviously, I'm never going to encourage that. but have people around you who are going to cheer you on, and learn and pass on and help others. That's something that for myself, I think one of the greatest things my business has ever done is last year, I was able to sponsor a family for Christmas. And this year I'll be sponsoring some more. I've also got plans to do something for Thanksgiving, because giving back and building community means you have a wider base of people to help support you at higher peaks or catch you during those rough falls. Be passionate, keep your eyes on the future, stay consistent, roll with the punches, and have people around you and forge meaningful bonds and help others. If you can do these things, you're not only going to become a better strongman athlete, but you're going to live a better life. And there is a person behind your athletic performance. And if you want your weights to go up and you want your performance metrics all across the board to improve, take care of that human being.